The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world. What's up? It's your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. We got a great show for you this evening. You know why? Because I said so. And we're going to be talking about, are you your preference? Because there's a lot of dudes, a lot of women out there have preferences, and they typically don't think about the other person that they are interested in. Are they their preference? And so we're going to talk about it. But the first question that we have to get to know you question is, what area of your life would you most like to improve? What area of your life would you most like to improve, right? And we're going to start with my homie, my friend, Mr. Brandon.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well, bro. Doing well. Good to see you, man.
Happy Monday for you. Appreciate you having me on again.
Absolutely. You said yes, so that's what's up.
So to answer the question, what would I most like to improve in my life currently? I definitely would say my business. I run a private practice for therapy. I just started at the beginning of the year, and I definitely would like to be able to ramp that up a little bit faster in the sense of being able to hire new clinicians and kind of just grow that out a little bit more. That'd be something I'm really interested in.
That's what's up. I appreciate you once again. Hey, that's a good thing to start on, right? Do you have a business plan?
Yeah.
Have you connected with the Chamber of Commerce?
No, I have not.
Check with the Chamber of Commerce where you're at, and more than one. Okay, talk to as many as you can. It's challenging sometimes, but don't just talk to Black ones, but talk to all of them that are in your local area. See when they meet up, and that's another way that you can start marketing as well. And they have some good feedback.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. All right, we're gonna welcome to the stage Miss Pick Meek. What up, man?
I'm muted. Hey.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. What you got on the question?
I don't know. Short answer: money. Money. I can improve on money everywhere. So
you need more money? Okay.
Yeah, just everywhere in every category.
Okay. So you needed to improve in every area.
Yeah,
okay.
Every area.
Yeah. Okay. Well, could you be more specific? What particular area would you be like, oh, okay, you are need? Because if you have it everywhere, then you don't really have an identifiable place to start.
Let's just say specifically my business. So I have a home baking business, and I need more sales.
That's what's up. Same thing. You can check out your local Chamber of Commerce. Also, connect with a place called SCORE, SCORE.
Okay.
They give some helpful advice as well as small business administration as well.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. All right. My homie, my friend, I call him the young OG. What's up, Trill?
What up, G?
Why? You just
being a
good movie,
my boy. Always, man. Life is good, man. Life is good. But in terms of what I would improve on procrastination, I think just right out of the gate. I'm the type of person where I typically wait till the last minute to do things and wait on that rush of inspiration, and it typically turns out dope. But I just wonder how much better And how much more efficient, how much more successful could I be if I actually started things early and planned things instead of just moving off urge. So if I had to improve something, that right there would definitely be it. Procrastination.
Man, ain't that something? Being a teacher, I see procrastination all the time.
I can imagine.
So have you had a point in your life where you didn't procrastinate?
Yeah, it was a situation where like I was kind of forced to stay on a schedule. But again, they kind of made it easy for me because it was broken up into steps for me to complete, but it was still deadlines involved in that, and I procrastinated to those deadlines. But going about those steps, it made me complete the total thing on time or early. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but so even then, I was forced into it. It wasn't really a choice that I made.
Yeah, I got you. So this is like a thing.
Definitely.
Oh, okay. That's
For sure.
One of the things that Elon Musk does, I haven't implemented it yet though. It's crazy. I'm coming up with these ideas when y'all talking to me, and I haven't implemented most of them. But that's my procrastination trail right there.
Mhm.
I got answers for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But Elon Musk, he does time. He puts 5 minutes aside to whatever it is that he's going to do, or 10 minutes. And so that helped him kind of be productive as well as kind of get rid of some procrastination. So do with that as you will. You know what I'm saying? All right. Welcome to the stage, Miss Penny. How you doing, ma'am? You on mute?
Sorry.
No worries.
I'm doing fine.
Good.
Let's see what areas. I think I would say my faith life balance. I speak faith all the time, but I don't read the Bible. I don't read into it. I feel like if I read the Bible, got more familiar with God, I think my arguments would be more solid. Because I encourage people to seek God when they're battling like things that are out of their control. I'm always trying to solve conflict with God solutions. So I think I would be more like successful in those. I think my purpose on like bringing people to God, I'll be more successful in that. And just also in life, like I fast all the time for faith reasons, but I don't read the Bible at all. So I think working on that, improving my knowledge with God, I think that's what I need to improve on.
That's what's up. You have a Bible app? The Bible app?
Yes, I do. And I never read it. Even in church, when they pull out the Bible and they say, pull out your app, I still don't pull out the app.
Oh, okay.
I read off the video. That's it.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, that's what helped me. The Bible app helped me try to be more consistent in that for sure. And if you ever read through the Bible, you'll see some things that you never saw before. It's crazy.
I even have like the daily one to try and like read it daily. No, I don't do that either.
Hey, listen, at least you know where you need to work at. That's what the question is for, right? Hey, welcome to the stage, Lost in Translation podcast.
Good evening, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, man. I'm just happy to be here right now. It's going to be a dope conversation.
Indeed. Yeah. Looking forward to
it. You got
it.
on the question.
Mine is physical fitness, and I'll tell you why. It's more for other people than it is for me, because people have a tendency to listen to people that they like physically for some strange reason. I've been looking at this for years. I've been having these conversations for years. And what happens is that when you're more physically, aesthetically pleasing, people's ears seem to perk up a little bit more, no matter what you say. You can have all the beautiful language you want in the world, but if you're not physically, aesthetically pleasing, people's ears just shut off. That's just how it is.
That's an interesting take. That makes sense. People, well, I mean, you look at TV, that's what they try to put on TV.
Correct.
Right? People that look nice, for sure. So that makes sense. All right. Good. I'm glad you're here, man. Looking forward to the dialogue. Sir Hale speaks highly of you.
Thank you, sir.
Now, if it's not right, I'm gonna let him know. Okay.
I appreciate it. Anytime you give me some improvement, I'll take that. Thank you, sir.
I was just joking, for sure. Welcome to the stage, Miss Ash. What's going on? Okay. Do I need to put it in the comment section? You're on mute. I hope Dwayne is watching.
Dwayne, I'm sorry. I guess we in training our inner Dwayne today. I'm sorry. My
I bet.
perspective, what I need to change basically is completion. Like I'll start on something. Case in point, right now I got a possible about 3 books that I've been procrastinating on finishing. It's like I'll start something, come back to it, put it down, come back to it, put it down, but don't complete it. I don't see it through. That would be my biggest thing. It's like if it's dealing with money, right now money, I'll get it done. But if it's something that I have long term for myself, I'll drag it out and beat it out. It won't pick it back up until I'm in the mood again.
That's what's up. That makes sense. And for me, the thing I want to improve on currently, right now, is being a father. I know it sounds crazy, maybe, but with the changing of schedules and things of that nature, and I don't spend as much time with my kids that I want to. Me and Dwayne talked about making sure that we spend like 15 minutes at least a day with our kids, like just one-on-one type time. And I didn't do that this week. And that's the number one thing that all of them asked of me is time with me. Matter of fact, today I did do like 15 minutes with my oldest daughter. She's 14. She just started high school. And she shout out to Gianna. She said, Daddy, do you remember the boys that I told you that I was eating lunch with? I said, yes, G, I remember. She said, well, I know their names now. I said, oh, okay. So you got your boyfriend? That what you trying to tell me? She's like, Dad, that's not what I'm saying. And so she said, she told me their names, and we had like a really good conversation about her and choosing her friends. It's a big deal because she's transitioning from homeschool to charter school. So for her to introduce herself to people is a big deal. And one of those things, if I didn't connect with her, I wouldn't have knew what happened today. So that's what I would say. I need to improve on doing that more consistently and not procrastinating. You know what I'm saying? For sure. All right. Hey, shout out to Security Boss. She said, shout out to HD Trill and the panel in the chat. Hey, if y'all ain't checked out SBU, you missing out on a treat. You feel me? All right. And then we have let's see, Marcus Evans said, what everyone, I think he's meant what up everyone. Let's be good tonight. But we always good over here. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. Okay. Dwayne's not on the show, so I can't troll too many people. That's probably it. I might troll Trill. I might, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Listen, we know each other too long for me not to at least once, right? All right, so here's the first question. The first question of this evening is, and we're gonna see how y'all like it. What is the purpose of having a preference? What is the purpose of having a preference? I'll give you some think time as I kind of get this up here. All right. And we'll start with Brandon. What is the purpose of having a preference?
All right, I would say it is a filter, a shortcut to kind of like to filter for the people that you believe you will have the greatest opportunity to reach whatever outcome you're looking for, whether that is you're just trying to get cheeks or you're looking for a long-term relationship. We have preferences for each one of those things. Sometimes they overlap. A lot of times they can overlap, but you know, it's a kind of a Venn diagram. You know, saying some over here, and then stuff in the middle. So I think the preference, having preferences, is kind of like a shorthand based off of past experience and kind of just what you believe you would like to kind of make it easier and more efficient for you to select a compatible mate.
Hey, bet, who you got going next?
Next, I'll go Lawful Translation.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. Here's my thing. The purpose of a preference is motivation. And I'm going to tell you why. You work harder for what you really want. You know what I mean? You ever had somebody to just give you something and it really wasn't what you want? So you kind of really didn't cherish it as much. You kind of like put it in the back of the sock drawer somewhere and be like, what, it's whatever. Now, it's a totally different thing if it's something that you really, really wanted. Like, say, for instance, if you wanted a new BMW 320i and you was like, you put all your money into it and you saved up for it, you know what I mean? You can tell all your homies you're going to get it and all this other stuff. You done picked out the rims and all this other stuff. That is your motivation. That's what causes you to get up to go to work every single day. You know what I mean? To have that particular motivation drawing you to being a better person. So I think that your preference is more for motivation than anything else, because it will unlock something in you to make you want to be better than what you are right now.
I got you. Who you got going next, sir?
Let's go with Penny.
I think a preference is more like a cheat code to like bypass things you have to get over. Like, if I prefer something that I like versus something I don't like, then I would have let me see, like, say like I prefer dark-skinned men than light-skinned men. And so if I get something that I like more right off the bat, then I don't have to work as hard to get that initial attraction or to gain that level of intimacy as hard as I would of something that I did not prefer. So I just think it's something that you would like. I don't think it's something that you would necessarily have to, it wouldn't work if you didn't have it. But it's just something that you would prefer to get further along in to a level of intimacy, if that makes sense at all. I guess what I'm trying to say. Like, I would prefer a man with money versus a man without money, because that way I can bypass the struggles with that man versus having to go through that, to stay with this man. So I think it's just like a cheat code of getting to another level of intimacy quicker to me.
Okay, who you got going next?
Say Trill.
Man, I say preference is like a mirror to how you see yourself, or it's like a symbolic of what you aspire to in terms of your value. Like, if you want to know something about somebody, man, just pay attention to what it is that they value. Because people say a lot of things, especially when we give them preferences. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of women be lying all the time about the type of man that they want, the type of man that they value. I want a man that's considerate. I want a man that's thoughtful. I want a man that's low key. I don't really care about the money. I don't really right? But then you look at her history of dating, and it doesn't reflect that. You see what I'm saying? So again, like, you can say it, and she may aspire to value that type of man, but how she views herself is what she chooses to tolerate. Same thing with men. You got men saying, I want a chick that's low key. I want a chick that's this. I want a chick that's that. And then you scroll his Instagram and see him liking a bunch of pictures of chicks half naked on Instagram and a whole bunch of things. Like, so again, he's saying one thing, but and it may be what he wishes his preference was. But I think, preference is more so what people aspire to be. And if you're lucky enough, eventually in life, what you aspire to be and what you are become the same thing. But oftentimes people don't, hit that stage, unfortunately. And I go with Ash next.
For me, preferences is more like going with what you're comfortable with. Like, if you don't went through a little trials and tribulations, let's say relationship, job wise, you be like, okay, we done been here before. This didn't really work for me. So let's try this, something that I'm more comfortable with. To me, it's more go hand in hand with a little comfort, because if somebody didn't work out, that's like Penny was saying, dark skin or whatever, that really wasn't your cup of tea, it was kind of little left side or went to left field, you're gonna go probably more to the light skin, what you're comfortable with, and also that's probably what you surround yourself with. I'm gonna go with Pick Meek.
Okay. I don't know how to define this. Preference is, I want to say, like a criteria, something that you like desire. It's not always the limit though. because it can change and it varies. I don't know. Preference doesn't have a purpose because it doesn't really matter. We all just lean on them, really.
Do you have a preference?
I do. I do.
So
have
how
a
would you
preference.
define your preference?
I mean, I would say I'm picky. A little bit of it might be unrealistic. So
So we'll get to that part. But the
I
first
prefer to
question
be
is what?
delusional.
Okay, we'll get to the delusion part for sure. I'm sure because I got some questions. I got some questions. All
Okay.
right. So what? Okay, give me your 3 of your preferences.
I prefer a man that wants to be a stepdad because I have a kid. I prefer a darker skinned man. And I prefer somebody that's doing better than me because I'm a hypergamist.
All right. Okay. So we also so then you do know the definition of preference.
Yeah. Right. I prefer it, but it's like I don't know. Like just because I have the preference doesn't mean that.
Listen, we gonna get to that. We are going to get to that. That is the conversation we are going to have. Right?
Okay.
Are you your preference? Right? And this conversation came through me and Dwayne recapping some things and talking about some things. He couldn't be here tonight because he lost his voice or whatever, right? And so, that's what we're gonna talk about. And so everybody kind of gave their idea and their position of what purpose of having a preference is, and so we're gonna start there. And so let's tackle it from here. How do people determine, or how do let me write it correctly? How do people determine their preference? How do people determine their preference? And Pygmy, since we ended with you, you can pick who goes first.
Okay, I was like, I don't want to go first because I don't know.
How do people determine their preference? Who you want to go first?
Let's start with Trill. I like him.
To be honest, I don't think people determine their preference. I think society determines people's preferences. It was a study done a while back, man. They was trying to figure out like how people think. It's in the book called Contagious by Jonah Berger, but he was talking about like if you put 10 songs on iTunes with no title, no picture, no nothing, all you know is how many listens it got. And let's say one song has 1,000 listens, another song has 50 listens, 20 listens, 30 listens, so on and so forth. And they were saying that, that they end up polling most people to come, pick which song that they would listen to first. And the song that everybody picked first was the one that had the most listens, right? So I feel like that's very symbolic as far as society is. It's like a lot of people a lot of people are scared to have a real preference because they don't want to stand out. Like I want to date what's cool. I want to be what's cool. I want to dress how people say is cool. But you have a select few people that's cool with being individual, and it's like I like this. I don't care what nobody say, but that ain't most people. So to answer the question, I don't think most people determine what their preference is. I think society does. We can go ahead to Brandon next.
I agree a bit with a lot with what Trill say about how society kind of helps determine that, and I would piggyback on that and say that not only do we kind of want to follow the herd when it comes to that, I also say that we kind of look to, I guess, what society deems as sexy or attractive to kind of inform our initial decisions about what it is that we want to pursue. So the point is, like, everybody say this is hot, I'm gonna go for that because that's what's cool. I'll also say that experience and just like what you kind of go, so like we can all have we all have a preference for, let's say we got a preference for these supermodels, but if a supermodel ain't gonna look at me, like usually my preference may have to shift if I'm following the cues. And also just like your self-worth, I think Trill also mentioned somebody, it's like kind of like a reflection of yourself, what a preference is. And if you don't think that you or anybody worth anything, you're less likely to kind of want to go for people who you feel will be good for you or healthy for you, or whatever word you want to use for a good relationship. And I think that a lot of that can happen like in early childhood and growing up, about how your parents or your people around you talk to you, and because those help inform how you view yourself. And if you don't view yourself in any kind of positive way, odds are you're gonna find yourself in non-positive interactions with the opposite sex. And next, I would go with Ash.
Well, I'm gonna fall in line and follow the herd because I get what Brandon and Trill is saying. Reason being is because on the one hand, you do have what you've been through that shape your preference and your view, and then on the other side, you got to do with society, because some people don't like going against what society put out there. They not free thinkers. So if you're not a free thinker, of course you're not going to be able to have an actual preference until, like Brandon said, that preference is not choosing you. It's just you going along with, think, hey, okay, this fine. But then again, it's pushed you into a zone where you're not comfortable with. And then you start getting mad, like, you know what, this really ain't for me. I'll, like, say a high maintenance girlfriend. Okay, wait, she spent too much money on her look. I really don't make this much. This taking me and my savings to the ground. So, you might need to find somebody else. We're going to go with Lost in Translation.
Thank you, Ash. I think people's preferences is rooted in whether or not they were comforted by their opposite sex parent. 9 times out of 10, if generally that was a good experience, people try to seek out that experience as an adult to try to replicate that good feeling, that good emotion. Also, where it may also come from is early childhood experience. Say, for instance, they had a friend or something that they really liked or whatever, and they looked a certain way and they treated them a certain way. Then what they would do is they would use that as the model going forward, as the basis of their preference. And they use that going forward and say, hey, I had a little dark-skinned friend who was nice to me. So guess what? Going forward, I'm only going to date dark-skinned people because they were nice to me. You know what I mean? And they don't open themselves up to other things because they haven't experienced anybody else giving them, a good experience. So basically it's based in whether or not they experienced a good feeling or good motion around that early childhood influence. So basically that's what it comes from. That's where most preferences are rooted from early on in life.
Gotcha. Who you got next?
Let's go with Penny.
I agree to a certain extent. I think your preference comes to what you enjoy, what you like, what comes comfortable to you, what you get along with, who you get along with. But I do think that society tests you on whether you will keep that preference. So say I used to have a Mercedes-Benz and I had a Pontiac G6. And I used to love driving the Pontiac Pontiac G6. And then people kept telling me, why are you driving that? Like, that car it's a bad car to drive as far as the way that it looked. Because it was it had a couple of accidents in there, the bumper was, hanging on there. But I liked driving it because I didn't have to be so comfortable when I'm parking. I don't have to park all the way down the parking lot, scared somebody's going to mess up my Mercedes. I can park wherever I want to. I can drive however I want to. I can bump into the curb if I wanted to. But people started to tell me, make me feel some type of way about preferring to drive that car. So I think people would be okay with certain things that they like, or men that they would like, or their partner that they would like. But when people start to get in your ear and tell you what you should have or what you should like, then it determines whether that person sticks with their preference or not. But I think people tend to connect with people that they enjoy spending time with and that they like. But when people tell you he doesn't seem like your type, or he doesn't seem like the type that you would have, then people start to change up what they prefer and their preference on people.
Who you got next?
I'm gonna go with Pick Me Meek. I don't think she went.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody had really good answers. So short synopsis, I would just sum it up with 4 words. I would say environment, programming, comfort, and just personal choices is what creates our preferences.
Okay. So we have 2 things. So one, some people say, well, it is the society, I guess the outside world. I guess you're referring to media, social media, TV, things of that nature. And then you have those that say, well, our experiences is what creates our preference. Is that sound about right? Did I get that?
Yeah, nature versus nurture, basically.
Yeah, nature versus nurture, right? So having your preferences, I think it's. I guess my next question is: when you get to the point of wanting to, when do you think your preferences are formed as it relates to getting to being in a dating, and when do you think they may transition as it relates to being in a serious relationship? So when do you, okay, so the preferences are, I would imagine, different in dating than they are in trying to get married. That's my perspective. That's what I would think. But everybody's different, obviously. So when do you think that shift changes or start? When do you start having preferences to date, and then when do you think it transitions to a preference to wanting to be married or being in a more serious relationship? Does that make sense of a question? Okay, kind of so. Okay, so like for example, my daughter's 14. She doesn't say that she wants to date boys, but I would imagine that she's thinking about a type of guy that at some particular point, right, that she's going to ask. Because why would she bring up boys right now? She's trying to, in my mind, she's trying to get a filler of what I'm thinking, right? That's my thought. I could be wrong though. And then if I talk about myself, I know I didn't really start dating until like maybe my junior, senior year in high school. And I didn't think about a preference that I had. It's just that there was a girl that I liked and we was friends already, right? So I didn't think about what preference that I had. So is it more aligned like that? Or is there a situation where, oh man, okay, if she not this or he not that, I'm not going to deal with them. And what age do you think that kind of starts? Right.
Hey,
and then does it make sense?
Yeah, no, just real quick. Can you define dating?
Very good. Thank you for asking that question. I would say dating as in just going out and hanging out, wanting to be with the opposite sex, and it's casual, right? I mean, you may have intimacy, right? That may happen. Intimacy may be a part of that. So yes, so I would say dating is where you wanting to spend one-on-one time with the opposite sex. Does that answer that?
It does.
All right, cool. All right, that's a bet. Who went last? Was it Pick Meek again? No? Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Penny, we'll start with you. It was Penny, we'll start with you.
Is that me?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't understand the question. Like, does your preference change when you're dating?
Listen, I will answer the question. Okay, so my question is, you have a preference, right? Everybody has a preference. Right. When do you think that was established? What age would you say that you begin to think, I want this?
Okay. Right. So I think depending on what you need in life at that time, I think that would determine like what your preference is. So say like you are in your 20s and you're not looking to have children or to be married, then what you would prefer would be different than when you're in your 30s and now you want to be married and you want to have children. So some of the things that you preferred in your 20s that you wouldn't prefer in your 30s. Some things you can go without as long as they have a lot of things that guide you to where you want to be or guide you to have those things that you want in your 30s. So I would say in my 20s, I really wasn't looking at whether a man would be a good dad. I was looking at whether I liked him or not, whether or not he did a lot of things for me. He bought me a lot of things, whether he was nice to me. But then now I'm in my 30s, I'm looking at people's character. I'm looking at how their faith is. I'm looking at how they would be as a parent. I'm looking at how they treat me, how they treat their parents. So I think like what you would prefer, and then it's a toss up of what you would prefer. It depends on your age and where you're at in life and what you want out of life at that time.
All right,
And
cool.
I'll go with Lost in Translation.
Yeah, that's it. You're gonna get me back, huh?
Hmm?
So I've been picking on you twice. It's time to get me back. Listen,
Sorry.
I agree with you, Penny. To answer your question, humble dad, generally your preferences start early adolescence. And what happens is you naturally like what you naturally like. There's no pressure for you to find a provider. There's no pressure in you to find the top chick if you're a guy. And what happens is as you get older, you get more and more responsibilities. And what happens is you look at life a little bit differently. And then you start asking yourself, hey, is this somebody who can actually, you know, raise kids with me? Is this somebody who's going to be able to stick around? You know, and my kids going to be proud to have her as a mom? You know what I mean? Will my kids be proud to look at him as a dad? You know what I mean? Those type of things. You start looking at things like temperament. How well do they handle anger? You know, how well do they problem solve? How well do they comfort me? You know what I mean? Is he able to comfort me? Is she able to comfort me? You know, those type of things. Can this person be a provider? You know, how well are they at solving problems? Because sometimes people look at people's jobs and all this other stuff. That's cool. But the baseline is you want to look at whether or not this person can solve problems, because a good problem solver will always be in business. So I think a lot of times we like to overlook what people actually do versus how they do it. And that's something that you have to be trained over time. In the Bible, it tells you that you should actually not lean on a woman's beauty. You know what I mean? Versus you have to look at what she does in her character. But it is so hard for us to overlook that because of the way that we're built. You know what I mean? The first thing we're going to go for is what we see. But it takes a certain level of maturity and discipline to look past that and say, okay, that's good. What else? Because my legacy and my family's future is riding on this. So I have to make sure I get this right. So as you get older, your preferences start to wane a little bit, and it starts to move over to the fact, hey, is this somebody that I can actually grow old with? And I think a lot of times, sometimes people's idea of their preference is nowhere near what they really need as they end toward the end of their life. Because it's one thing for you to look at somebody and say, oh, that person is cute. It's another thing to think, hey, is this person going to be in good enough health to take me to the doctor? You know what I mean? When I need to get sick, we always like to look at each other and say, hey, you know, I'm always going to be in good health. But that's not always going to be the case, because we go to the hospital and see old people all the time. And I see old couples and then they're holding each other's hands. They're helping each other with their canes. That should be the end goal versus whether or not that person makes me tingle on the inside. So yes, early childhood is where that's formed. But as you mature and you learn to look past those other things and you start looking into whether or not what you need, roughly around your 20s and 30s, when you've had some experience, that's when those preferences are not as prevalent, or you don't lean on them as much. Does that make sense? Okay,
That's solid.
good.
Who you got next?
Let's go with Trill, man.
I mean, I agree with a lot of what bro said. I think, you know, your preferences start young, 10, 11, you know, whenever you're old enough to go outside and go to that playground and see which girl out here is the prettiest, which one that, you know, everybody want to get with, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, damn, she is attractive. And that, so I think you kind of form the preference there. And then as you get older, like life kind of slaps you in the face. That's why it's so funny, man, like to see dudes, like we talking about like Instagram chicks and chicks showing their body off and stuff like that, to see dudes like aspiring to be with these women, like, man, if she just give me a opportunity, man, and then he finally get that opportunity. And I love talking to him after it crash and burn. because it is gonna crash and burn. But I like talking to them after. They be like, man, bro, that was crazy as hell, bro. She insecure. She was on my line all the time, going through my phone, slash my tires, all of that. So I think it takes for us to go out there and actually get lived experience, to get smacked in the face and realize, hey, that's not what I really want. You know what I mean? It's kind of like going to the car lot. Like everybody want to drive a foreign car. Everybody want a Benz. Everybody want a BMW. Until something go wrong on that one. And then you at the dealership and they talk about, yeah, it's gonna be 1,300, 1,500, 2,700. You like, oh, wait a minute. When I had my Mustang, I wasn't paying this when it went wrong. But I think experience kind of smacks you in the face and like repositions you to start leaning towards what it is that's really value to you. And it comes with experience, man. And I wish I could say for most people, but it's not for most people. They got people 40 years old that's still chasing what feels good instead of what makes logical sense. And going back to what bro said, like, do I trust this person with my legacy? Like, if something happened to me tomorrow, would you be able to take these keys, get in that driver's seat and keep driving to the destination we're going to? Not just is the sex good, not just do you look good on my arm. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so just in short, I think preferences start early. And then as you get older, life smacks you and kind of creates your preferences for you or shows you what they really are, I'll say. And we're going to go with Ash next.
I agree with that. I agree with all of what's been said. I really do think it starts early with childhood, especially with little girls, because they tell you, you don't want no broke man, you don't want no man that's doing this, you don't want that, or you need somebody to be able to take care of you to do this. So your preference is formed, but like Lost in Translation was saying, you're going back to that childhood to see, okay, daddy did this and I like the way daddy did this, and when I asked daddy to do X, Y, Z, he was on it with no delay, because I do base my relationship off of what my dad does. Like if I say, hey, I need this done by this and that, it ain't no pushback. It was why you didn't call soon? I was like, well, I tried to get it done myself, but it didn't work. So I would definitely say it goes back to childhood, and then what we start conditioning our own self to allow to go on and take place and transpire. And I'm gonna go with Brandon.
But like y'all already done said everything that need to be said. I do, but I will say it anyway. I do agree that preferences are formed relatively early. I would say pretty much once you start recognizing that what a girl is, and what it can do, and what like once those feelings start changing in you, once that puberty starts kicking in. So I say real early. I probably say fifth, somewhere between fifth and like 7th grade. It probably starts forming, but at that point early on in the game, I consider all of that to be kind of like a theoretical model of when you're coming up with those purposes. Because all of those, it's a theoretical model. It sounds great in a vacuum. It looks great on paper. And then once you start getting older, starts getting in high school, college, in your 20s with real responsibilities, practical. It gets much more practical when you start to recognize that, I'm saying it looked good, but I have no use for it in my real life. Or like, oh, I didn't know I can use this in real life. This actually has a little bit more or significantly more value to my life that I initially anticipated. So I would say that, early on, everything's very theoretical. Everything works in your mind, but it hasn't been tested by life and circumstance and what's going on. So around your mid-20s, I would say that's when you probably start forming a more solid basis of like what your real preferences that will most likely remain. I'm not gonna say unchanged, but like not as changed through the rest of your life. So like if you might do some tweaks, from that point on, but I'm pretty sure the changes in your preferences from when you was 15 to 25 is nowhere near as broad as when you were 25 to when you were about 40. That makes sense. I have no data, but that's my theoretical guess.
That's what's up.
And
is everybody on that one?
Yeah, did I go last?
Okay. I think that's everybody on that one. I'm not
No,
mistaken. Okay.
wasn't. I did not
So,
answer this question.
Who didn't go?
well,
Oh,
you
I
said I
did.
don't know so many times, so I just theoretically thought that that's what you were gonna say.
No,
Okay, go ahead.
this is
Take
a
me.
take me.
question I really can answer because it's a first person
All right,
question.
bet. Go ahead. I knew I was
And
gonna
I'm
be
better
trolling
with
somebody.
those.
Here we go.
But
All right, bet. Go ahead.
no, but I would say that preference does begin really early, like early in your life. I'm gonna speak first person. Like I always knew that I wanted a husband that could take care of me and was smart and liked family since I played with Barbie dolls. And that just was something that was given to me by my father. Like my dad would be like, you need this kind of man. If your man can't pay all the bills, you don't need him. If your man can't fix the car or pay somebody to fix it, you don't need him. Like it just was a whole list of stuff. And then you go talk to granddad. Granddad was like, you better stay out them donkeys off the street, face. So it's just like I've personally never liked street guys, and it's just like as I get older, all I've done is learned how to better identify the traits that I like in my preference.
Okay, so I think it's the reason why I asked about the preference thing is because uh how marriage is right now, and people are reluctant to get married. And it's like, okay, here's my preference though, but they don't want to be married. But it seems like the preference that they have is a marriageable type of preference, but that's not who they go for though. They may, you know what I'm saying? Like you say, this is the type of woman that I want, or this is the type of man that I want, but then you're not even in the mind space or the space to be married. Like that's really, I think that's why I was asking, when does that change happen? Because if you're not in the mindset of being able to get the preference that you prefer, then why even have that as a preference? You should be like, okay, I just want to date and I just want to be having unprotected sex or just sex in general, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna look for that type of person, as opposed to be like, you know what, I want him to be tall, dark, and handsome. He could take care of me, you know what I'm saying? Take me on nice trips and everything like that. Nah, you just want somebody to bust it down. I mean, same for the dudes. Like you just want somebody to roll around in the sheets with, you know what I'm saying? On the weekends, right? So it's like, okay, hone in on your preference and what time is it in my life, and just focus on that as your preference. And so that led me to kind of think about some questions. Did I write it down? What are what should be some expected preferences for women, let's say in the age of 25 to 30? So what I'm saying is, we already talked about society gives preferences, but I want us as a panel and as mature individuals to say, okay, listen, woman, and we're gonna come to the men, so relax to those that are concerned about that. What should be some standard preferences that a woman between 25 and 30 should be looking for in a man to marry? Okay, need some think time. What should be some expected preferences women should have between the ages of 25 and 30 when looking, hopefully, well, they're not necessarily looking for marriage, but let's say that they are. Okay. Does it make sense of a question? Thumbs up? No? Okay. All right. Some people will say, because when I be teaching and I ask this question, people won't give me no answer, and I'm gonna just assume that you understood the question. Okay. All right. That's how we doing it. All right. And anybody can start.
Okay, I'll go. Far as what they need to be looking for, if you're trying to go the marriage route, I would say you need to know
Yes.
what are you trying to marry, because you got some people that's marrying for looks, or you got some people that's marrying, okay, well, he got a lot of money, let me go with that, or he flashy. When I say flashy, I mean he got the jewelry, he got the car, he got all these designers on, but yet you don't know what he like financially. Like I would say definitely stability, because that's something that we don't teach. We teach, and society teach, go by looks. go by what they can do right now, not what they can do for you later, but for right now. And that was get all of us, me included, messed up in the head, because when you have a hard time, this person don't come through for you, then you got your mad day, and then you ready to set the world on fire simply because you didn't take the time to realize that this person is not what you need. This is just what you need for right now to make you feel comfortable.
Who got next?
Oh, I'll go. Good. Okay, because I have a good answer. I think that there should only be one reason to get married for legacy and family. So if that's not your goal, I honestly feel like you should stay away from it. I feel as though as a woman, the few things that you should look for when selecting a mate, first and foremost, is character. How a man makes his decisions directly affects you. You need to make sure that this man ain't out here making crazy decisions with you standing behind him. Second, a man with a plan, but not just a man with a plan, a man of action. Just because a man has potential, you need to be able to see his work be produced. If you're in between the ages of 25 and whatever we said, I would say date older, because then you have the ability to see what that man has produced. And then that way you can see whether or not he is a man of his word, and if he's a man of action and producer, like an actual producer. And then lastly, I would say how a man faces adversity, because life is going to be hard, especially if you're choosing a Black man. So what decisions is he making while he's out here navigating this difficult world? Is this the man that's going to wake up early, work hard, grind out, take 7 jobs? Or is this the man that's just going to go rob the corner store because it's just easier? So you need to be mindful of that man.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think, stability, accountability, definitely with an exclamation mark behind that. Results is the main thing that I want to get to. What has that man finished? What has he completed? Think about men, especially men that like you. They're gonna tell you everything that you want to hear in terms of what they about to do or about what they trying to do. But what is your job to do your due diligence and vet that man and look at that resume and figure out what have you finished. You tell me you want to go to school. Like has he completed a degree? Has he actually applied? Like what actionable steps is this man taking to get to the point that he's telling you he's trying to get to? So I think at 25, 30 years old, around that time, some type of results should be going on. Now, if you still, if you insist on trying to build a bear, then, that's your own preference. You see what I'm saying? When I'm talking about somebody who actually looking to be married, results. And again, I agree with her, how that man handles adversity. Can you stay level? A lot of men don't have emotional intelligence. A lot of them wasn't raised with fathers, which is probably the main cause of that. So their emotions be all over the place. Somebody say something left to me, I'm flying off the handle. I'm ready to shoot them. I'm ready to fight them. I'm ready to do it. Like a lot of these things you can't do when you got a family, because it's not about you no more. You got to think about your daughter if you got to go sit down for 20 years. Or you got to think about, what your wife going to do if she got to come to that morgue and identify you. But if you don't have emotional intelligence, you ain't got no level-headed, no level-headedness, no stability, then you're going to fly off the handle at just the most rudimentary things. And that man is not ready to lead a family, which is ironic because a lot of women value that type of edge, especially early. So I'm saying once you get to 25, 30, that shit should die down. You should think in a more logical way. Is this man capable of making it with me to the finish line? Realistically. And then you make your decision based on that. So, just in short, man, stability, accountability, results, and level-headedness.
I agree.
Who got next?
I agree with Trill. I definitely agree with all y'all so far. I would say how they prioritize their time. And I'm not just saying just work wise and stuff like that, but also with you. When I say you, I mean you woman. How they prioritize you as a woman, because if they like you, they gonna make the time for you. If they can't make it, they gonna give you a reason why and follow up with, hey, let's do this instead and move some things around. They're gonna try to make it happen. And I would say one of the things is disability of thought and action. You know what I'm saying? Got to kind of, you know, like their emotions aren't all over the place, like to Trill's point. And one of the big tellers for me, I think I mentioned before, one of my other past episodes, is how they are regarded by their peers is something to kind of really take, to kind of really acknowledge and really pay attention to. I always say a red flag in anybody is whether or not they got any good friends. You know, somebody who ain't got no friends, to me, it's kind of like a or eyebrow raiser. Like, what happened? You know, because like if you can't maintain a friendship over X amount of time, I don't know. You don't have a history. I can't count on your history to be able to tell me whether or not you can maintain any sort of relationship. So like you trying to rent an apartment, if you ain't got no history of renting nobody else, I don't know if I want to take my chance on you right now. So yeah, I would say the stability of thought and action, how they prioritize their time, and you know how they are regarded, you know, by their peers, and also whether or not when they're speaking in the future tense, listening to see where you would fit in within those plans, if they are making room for you in it. And I'm just speaking for people who are you're together for marriage, or you're looking for the long haul. So when they're talking about, hey, I'm planning on doing this and that, listen and hear and see if you are included in those plans that he's making. And who hasn't gone? And go.
Hey, it's solid. That was good. Go ahead.
Okay.
Who got next?
So who hasn't gone yet?
I'll go.
Okay.
No, we just in dialogue, Brandon. So whoever wants to go can go.
Say that again? Oh, yeah. I would say grace. A man that allows you grace. A man that you will allow grace. A man that accepts change and is willing to improve. I would say a man that's motivated, driven, a man that's open-minded with growth. And like Trill said, results. What has he shown you? What has he done in his life to show you that he's all these things? Not a man that looks like he can protect, a man that's actually protecting with his mom, his sisters, his brothers. How are they showing you these things? From personal experience, my personal experience right now, my guy, someone said that he doesn't look like he can, protect me. But little did they know, the guy I'm talking to now, he got shot in the stomach, before he was robbed and shot in the stomach. And he was able to withstand that, and it's like, if someone can go through those types of adversity and show you that they're strong enough to get through those type of things and still be resilient, then it's like a man has shown you that he can take a hit. He can take a hit. And so you have some guys that look like they can take a hit, but, when the time comes, they don't come through. So it's like just looking at a man and thinking he can protect you versus looking at a man that's showing you that he can protect is two different things. So just looking at those results and seeing what he's done in his life so far to show you that he can provide and he can protect and that he's level-headed and that when it really matters that he'll take care of you and take care of things. I think results is major for that. So
that's good. I appreciate that. Who's next?
I guess I'm the last one.
It's on you, Lost in Translation?
It's on me. Here's the thing. I have this thing called the 4 W's, and it's real easy for you to remember. The first one is willingness. Basically what it is, you want to make sure that a man is willing to serve. A man who doesn't serve you is a man who serves himself, and he does not protect his family. That is not somebody you want to deal with. Somebody who is willing will actually listen to what you're doing, listen to what you say, listen to how you feel, listen to the concerns of the family and those individuals who are in the family. That's somebody who has to have willingness. The second W is work ethic. You know what I mean? Is this somebody who jumps out of the bed, who attacks his day, or is this somebody who hits the alarm 4 and 5 times because he has to drag himself out of the bed? Basically, what that means is that is this person purpose driven? Is their purpose so good it drags them out of the bed so you don't have to encourage him, you don't have to motivate him to do what's in him to do. The next W is wisdom. You want to make sure that this person, uses intelligence, guidance, represents himself well amongst others. Make sure he uses other people's experiences along with his experience to make sure that he guides his family correctly, so he avoids them from having all type of pain and trauma and things of that nature. Wisdom is one of those things that takes time to work. And how you shortcut that is you make sure you get under a good mentor or several leaders. The Bible said it's safe in the multitude of counsel. You want to look for a man that makes sure that he has a well-organized council of men guiding him forward, leading him forward to make sure that he makes good decisions for his family. And the next one, the last W is very important, is worship. This person has to be held accountable by somebody. Who is this person when nobody else is watching? You want to make sure that this person is of high moral character, to make sure that that person is the same person behind your back that is the same person in front of your face. You see what I'm saying? Is that the same person who's going to talk well about you and say glowing things about you? Also in Proverbs 31, there's also, everybody likes to talk about the Proverbs 31 woman. Well, if you go a little bit further down in there, there's a Proverbs 31 man who says that he actually is known in the gates. That means people reverence his authority, the way he carries himself. And he also makes sure that his kids honor their mother. You see what I'm saying? You want to make sure you have somebody who actually honors their wife. You know what I mean? The Bible says that a man's prayers will be hindered if he doesn't take care of his wife. You see what I'm saying? So those are the things that you have to look for. That last W is something that we really don't talk about because we don't like to step on toes when we start talking about Bible stuff. But at the end of the day, who that person answers to is what's going to determine whether you're going to be solid. So the 4 W's is willingness, worth ethic, wisdom, and worship, in that order.
Anybody have anything they want to respond to or say?
I think you got to watch out for that worship, though, because they will worship God and be doing the total opposite. The same thing. You think you got a church man, he go to church every Sunday, he read his Bible, and then he doing something totally different, saying God know his heart. So watch out for that worship man too.
Here's my thing about that. If he's really who he says he is, his fruit, like Trill said, will show who he is. So my thing is, whenever somebody tells you who they are, don't look at that. Look at their fruit. Like Trill said, look and see what they've done. That matters. You can only fool people for so long. After a while, it's going to time you to get off the pot and show who you really are.
Oh,
Yeah,
did he say get off the pot?
That's right. You're going to have to get out of the pot. It's time.
That's the thing that I communicate with. Yeah. That's what I communicate on a regular basis when I'm talking to women. And I said this, Trill was there. Remember Trill when we was in Atlanta? And I said, listen, telling the women that the reason why y'all have a hard time is because y'all sleep with them too early. You know, like y'all give up the goods, and then y'all trying to figure out is he a good dude or not. Right? You done lost your leverage. Right. So your mind is not even focused on like the things that Lost in Translation is communicating, or even the things that everybody has communicated. These are things that should be looked for early. Okay. Because just because he can provide for you, it was a lady that said, I wish I had the clip. It was a lady that said, the only way to provide is not through finances. I think Trill did a short on this too. Women need emotional stability. They need spiritual stability. They need an individual that will also honor them in a way that women should be honored. Right. But I think women have a hard time moving past what Ash said, which is, this dude is fine. You know what I'm saying? He is top-notch looking dude. And so and then his words are very persuasive, right? And there are certain guys that can talk to women. But that's mostly because that's what she was already looking for anyway. Like she liked the dude, and when he said what he said, it just made it that much better, right? And so that's important. I really appreciate the things that y'all communicated. And that's why I wanted to say that particular time frame, 25 to 30. And then when does it start? As y'all talked about, it starts when you're young, right? And if you are currently a single parent, you need to be talking to your kids about what they need to be looking for, right? You need to talk about it, but you also need to be the individual that's doing it, because they're paying attention more so to how you choose a man, how you choose a woman. Okay. And so you got to lead by example. And that's I dropped that there. And so my next question for the day is, let me see, where was it? Oh yes. What are the expected preferences men should have? What are the expected preferences men should have? So we just talked about, why are we laughing? What? Am I on a delay or something?
Just a little bit. But
Yeah, ready? Oh.
But I would say for men, if I had a son, I would tell him, like, you need to make sure that's what you want for as the mother of your child. When, like y'all said about the men, when you turn your back, is she gonna be in your homeboy face? Is she trying to just ride the wave because right now you up? Because she also needs to see you when you down, when you fall against and your finances ain't right, or maybe you have to do a job change or relocation. You need to be able to depend on that woman to stay solid. Or maybe you want to sign up for like the service, or if your job take you out of town a lot, is she going to be able to stay home and be able to maintain your home? I'm gonna go with the basic cooking, cleaning, cause I'm gonna tell you right now, like Trill was saying, them Instagram models look good, but when you go look at that bathroom mirror, it's kind of dirty. That tub got a little stain on it. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for that bathroom shower wall. You see that dirt on there, but ain't nobody looking at that. Ain't nobody looking at the outside. They just looking what's directly in the middle of the picture. So if I had a son, I would definitely tell him, hey, you need to be careful. Because just because you laying down with her now, don't mean she won't be with somebody else that's trying to offer her something bigger and better. And you got to watch that. Because a lot of females, they do go for big and better. Because if they know you is friends with Tom over there, and Tom just came up on 5 racks or whatever, we're not going to say what Tom did, but he just came up like that, she might be looking at Tom. Because, I mean, we all old enough to watch Belly. We seen how, I mean, not Belly, New Jack City. You see how a girl was with G Money in the club, but she had her eyes on Nino. She knew that if she was over there playing with G Money long enough, she was going to be able to slide in, and she did that. But we don't look at that part of the movie. We look at how Nino came up and went down. But if you really go back and break down that movie, you can see some of the characters in some of our friends, some people we may know or may not know.
I'll say, I keep it saying, I'll carry over what I said before about the time and the commitment, and not necessarily commitment to the relationship, but time and the reciprocation of time and effort. You know, you want to know, like, you know, you are here doing what you're doing to show that you are trying to pursue this young lady. You would like to see how she reciprocates that interest in you. You know, is she always just trying to pull and take, or is she, you know, she pouring back into you as well? I will also say, you know, what her demeanor is, in the sense of how she treats you when she's mad. You know, that can be a, you know, kind of a good indicator of, you know, if that's up for the future, in the sense of, like, how does she call you out your name when she get angry at you? You know what I'm saying? Does she pull out some shit you said, you know, from way back when and bring it and throw it back into your face? Red flags. And probably I would say one of the most important ones, I would say, can she be accountable? Can she say I'm sorry? Like those specific words. Can she say I am sorry or I apologize when she is wrong, and not try to, you know, walk it around and, you know, cook you a plate of food and let that be the sorry? Can she actually say, you know what, you're right, I'm sorry, I apologize, or what have you, something along those lines?
Yeah, I agree. I think Man, with women, I think the first thing man need to be looking for is selflessness. I think that most women are raised to be entitled. And it's not really that much in their control, but it's just what it is. Even if she has a dad in the home, a lot of times the woman is raised on like what to expect from a man, like what to demand from a man. Make sure that he making enough money. Make sure that he can protect you. Make sure that he's about you. One woman, man. All of these things, right? So a woman leaves the house typically with that in her mind. Like, okay, for any man who want to be with me, I need this, right? But rarely ever does the parent teach the daughter, hey, when you run into a solid dude who's willing to give you everything that I just told you, this is how you take care of him. This is the attention to detail that you need to pay. You need to focus on this. You need to be attentive. You need to make him feel wanted. You need to, like, a lot of women don't get that game. And a lot of times they got to lose a good man in order to learn it, right? So I would say first things first is selflessness. How much attention does that woman pay to things about you that she doesn't directly benefit from? Because think about women, man. Women, especially if you providing the baseline of what it is she want, you got money, you got status, you got, a nice body, you look good. She gon' she all for you because she getting what it is that she wants from you, right? But how much attention does she pay to things about you that she doesn't benefit from? Like, does she know what your birthstone is? If you had to ask, put on the spot, or does she know what your favorite book is, your favorite author that you like to read? You see what I'm saying? Like, how much does she trip when you try to go play basketball with the boys to get just some you time, right? Like, what is her demeanor like when you're not doing something for her or she's not benefiting from it? How much attention to detail does she pay to you then? I think that's an important factor. Also, how many people does she put in your relationship? Because it's a lot of that. You know, understand me? You got people who mamas is the goddamn third wheel in the relationship. Is you, her, and her mama, or is you, her, and her bestie, or you, her, and her auntie, grandma in your relationship? Like, how many people does she put in your relationship? Or does she keep it G, and when y'all got issues and y'all trying to have conflict resolution, she can come to you and y'all can work out whatever it is that y'all need to work out and keep it pushing and keep her damn mouth closed when it comes to outside forces? Because that's the fastest way for a relationship to crash. But unfortunately, a lot of women don't really realize that, right? So I think that right there is of the utmost importance, man. So like I said, selflessness, keeping people out of your relationship, and again, attention to detail about you in regard to things that she doesn't benefit from. If you could find a woman that's bringing that to the table, you got you somebody that's going the distance. Accountability too. I think bro touched on that. A lot of women have a hard time apologizing or admitting they was wrong, even when they know they wrong. Or they'll come back 2 weeks later. Yeah, baby, I might have been tripping a little bit. No. I need the accountability right there in the moment. Like right there in the moment. Next day at the latest. Right. If she's willing to do that, you got you something, man.
I think I'll go. I would say
That might need to be first.
What?
Listen. I guess I think I'm on a delay.
Yes.
I'll let you go. I think I'm on a delay. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say effort. I know a lot of you hit on that. How much does she pour into you? I agree with that. I think how she treats you, or if you have children, how she treats your children, how much she's willing to go out of her way to take care of your children. If you do have children outside of the relationship, I think what she will go without to help you says a lot about a woman. I think, does she make your life easier? Is she concerned about your mental state of mind on a daily? How she shows up for her family, how she treats her family will tell you a lot about a woman. So if she's doing all of those things, I think you got a good one if she can do that, especially the going without. If she can sit there and say she don't have to get anything done, she'll go broke with you. She'll, sacrifice getting money. She'll do all of those things for you. Then I think you got a good one with you.
Can I go? I don't know if we're on a delay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I do have
It's not y'all, it's me.
Okay. So I do have a son. My son is 12. So these are the conversations we are having because he believes he's going to meet his high school sweetheart and marry her. Fingers crossed. So we'll see how that goes. For him, it starts with character, how a woman, decisions matter just across the board. Like her values are important. How her upbringing is, because he's young. I tell him to look more into females who come from a 2-parent household, because a female who has a father is going to respect him. Respect has to come first. Like, I don't want my son dealing with no woman that's going to be out here talking to him crazy just because that's what she's seeing her mother doing and the women in her family. Absolutely not. So he's discerning enough now, like he'll shut it down. Like he's been doing it for a while. He'll let, like, Mom, these girls be talking to me like I'm crazy and don't even know. Like, let them know. So respect. Family is important. A woman who doesn't value family, I don't think you should attach yourself to her, because that just leaves for a chaotic household. Like, if she's not putting the family first and she's not caring about the family and she only thinking about her, it's not even gonna make for a successful relationship. So don't even bother. And the important stuff, fit, feminine, and friendly, because if she's not none of those things, she's not going to work. Can she walk into the room and captivate it? How does she conduct herself? Does she know that she's representing you first and foremost every time she steps out, and what that looks like? So those are just the things they should pay attention to the most, in my opinion.
Man, I wish I didn't have this delay. So I'm going to have one last question, and then we'll call it a wrap.
Hold on, I got one.
That's crazy. Okay. And we go with. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Here's the thing. Like I had earlier, 4 W's that men should look for. I got 4 H's that 4 W's that women should look for. I got 4 H's that men should look for. Number 1 is honorable. Number 2 is honest. Number 3 is holy. And number 4 is heartfelt. Let me break those down for you. Honorable it ties into relationship how she is dealing with the community. And I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, when we were growing up, my mom used to, have snacks for us or whatever. And our friends used to come over and they used to have snacks too. You know what I mean? Whenever she, the kids were, hanging out of the house and we had extra dinner, they could stay for dinner or whatever. Now, as my mom gets older, how that plays into effect. When it's come times for my mom to move, those same people that she helped to feed came like an army to help her move, no time flat. That is what I mean by honorable. How well does the people hold her in regard in the community? Number 2 is honest. That speaks for itself. You want to make sure that somebody who's in your camp is dealing with other people honestly. Somebody who's dealing with you honestly. You know what I mean? Somebody who understands that the best way to have a relationship is to have that transparency and that trust. And that's normally built on honesty. So you want to make sure you have somebody who's honest. The next one is holy. You want to make sure that you have somebody who can send up a prayer for you. You know what I mean? When they send up a prayer for you, a whole host of angels come in like an army to rescue you when you need it. You want to have somebody who can send up a word for you when things are bleak. And the last one is heartfelt. You want to make sure that somebody who makes sure that they refresh you as a man. Because when you go out and you do things for the world and you come home and you're tired, you want to make sure that that person is someone who refreshes you, who makes sure that you get your energy back so you can restore your strength so you can go right back out there and do it again. So fellas, if you're listening, you want to get somebody who's honorable, who's honest, who's holy, and who's heartfelt.
That's really good. Y'all have done a wonderful job in communicating. And so this is going to be the last question, especially with this delay. I don't know what's going on, so I apologize. So I'll put it in the back chat as well. And so the last question is, what do you do if your preference doesn't want you? What do you do if your preference doesn't want you? And whoever want to go first, and we're just going to have a dialogue. If you have a question for somebody, you can ask a question or you can expound on what someone's saying.
I'll go first on this one. I think if your preference doesn't prefer you, I think you got 2 choices. change your preference,
Mhm.
but change yourself to match whatever it is that they prefer. And whichever way you decide to go, it just depends on what it is that they prefer. Whether what are you willing to do? What are you willing to give up or work for in order to get to the mountaintop, so to speak. And I think a lot of people aren't really willing to do whatever the work that that may be in order to attain such prize. That's good. Let's go with that word. Yeah, that's pretty much why I'm at with it. I think you just got two choices: you either change your preference or change yourself.
Or find somebody else with that same preference.
I don't know if it's that easy to change.
Find somebody else got that same preference. Now, if you keep running to a dead end to where you ain't a fit, then you're gonna have to change something, because that means that you ain't, you don't have all that it takes for that. Your options you don't have a lot of options. Your options are slim. So, but if not, that's one or two, keep going. Like, you'll run into somebody with those same preference. You'll probably be a go.
Learn to say when. That's what I'm gonna say. Learn to say when. Like, you can only chase for so long before you wear yourself down. Like, keep going after that same preference. Maybe it ain't for you. Maybe that grandmama prayer done worked in trying to keep you away from that heathen, since we're gonna take it to the biblical standpoint. Because sometimes people that we want in our life that we hold on so tight to, it's time for them to go. And that's one of those things I had to learn the hard way. You holding on to somebody and everything that you're trying to go for or trying to work with is breaking your hands up off of it. Like, you got to get rid of them. They got to go. Because I've really learned, some people are just for a season, not a lifetime. They're here for a good time today. You can't call them tomorrow because their time is up. And Flavor Flav, your time is up. Give me your clock.
I really don't like reasons and seasons. I hate when people say reasons and seasons. I just feel like people always trying to get rid of somebody. It's like you decided to engage. People engage into people into the wrong type of relationship. Like, you can get with a friend and now you want to make her your best friend, put her all in your business. You should have stuck with just going out with her, going to kick it with her, having lunch with her. But now you want to put her all into another type of relationship that she should have never been. You have a guy that should have stayed a friend or should have kept him with somebody that you can talk to or that can give you the game on things. But no, you want to go date this guy and make him your husband when he ain't husband type.
That's the choice. That's the choice to move him in a different position. See,
don't put him
looking
in
at somebody at one position and you trying to do like checkers, move them up. Everybody ain't made to move up. I had to learn that with a lot of friends. Hey, we were good for clubbing. We were good when we were even. Because sometimes I've noticed with some women is when everybody's playing field even, long as my hand is doing like this to you, when you need something, we good. But when my hand turn around and say, hey, can I get that right back? I can't get it. And that's why I say that season has expired. It's not just
kept him at club. But you decided to take him at club. You should have kept him at club. She was good for the count. She's probably one of your ugly friends. She was good for the count. But no, you want to take her into somewhere else that she shouldn't have been.
No, because we started in high school. We went way back. See, it's not, sometimes these relationships we have go way back than the ones that we just met. Because I got friends that's done turned to cousins. You know what I'm saying? I done had cousins turn to foes. It's not all about that person moved in position. I'll let you play your position. That's what I'm gonna do 100, because I need to know how you move. And when I really need something, can I count on you? Or what are you calling me for? It took me a long time to learn how to step back and just let people fall. Because once they fall, you're gonna see who they really are. Yeah, we can go out and have a good time, get these free drinks, $1 here, there, whatever we paying. But at the same time, some people just really is for a season. And it is hard for us to let go of our, good Judies and whatnot. It's not all the time it's, oh, let me kick you to the curb because you're not doing what I'm doing. Because I understand, all my friends know, don't call me on the weekend. You got to let me know in advance because I'm working on the weekend. I'm getting my money because I don't like calling and ask nobody for help. So I need to be at work. But if it's something special going on, birthday or something, call me. I may come. I may come and stay about 2-3 hours. Like I said, your time is up. I got to go. I'm going to see you later. But at some certain time, people don't understand that. Some people want you to stay for the whole thing. And sometimes you can't do that. And again, that's just from my personal experience. Is that season, when the time is up, you got to let them go. because everybody don't fly with you. And I had to learn that the hard way by trying to keep people around me that I thought we were locked in, chain link, we going forward together. But sometimes when you're with these people, they start looking at you different because you at a point where they think you should be at. I done lost several friends over this. And it's like, I'm a single parent. It's like, what you mad about? You got a man over there. You paying more attention to what's going on this plate. You need to pay attention to his plate. Make sure he fed. Don't worry about what I got going on. Because this right here don't serve you. Is if we're friends, you need to mind your business. And when I call on you, that's when you entertain me. But at the same time, people don't feel like that. Because once you break that, we're here, or you think I'm a step above you in any way, we have a problem. And a lot of women don't like saying that, but that jealousy comes in and you can see it, you can start smelling it. It stinks up the whole room like musty onions. I mean, let's just be clear. It's not all the time, it's, I don't want you no more, I want that friend. Nah.
Yeah,
You're
no.
acting funny.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think people just grow apart, man. Like
Yeah.
I say, you may have friends, especially as men. Like when we younger, you may have friends in the neighborhood that that you done fought it out with. Y'all done got in shootouts together. Y'all done been through all kinds of stuff together. You see what I'm saying? But I chose to leave and go to college and be in a corporate world and chase business ventures and things of that nature. And you just don't fit there. You know what I'm saying? If I need you to shoot somebody, then you'll be perfect for that, right? But this
That's what
is
I'm
a different
saying.
stage.
That's what I'm saying.
But again, this is a different stage in life, and again, you got to separate from them because a lot of times if you try to drag them with you, they'll mess up the new stuff that you got going, and it's not from being malicious. It's just that some people just don't know how to adapt. Some people are just stepping stools. That's the reality of this situation. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, we might have had a great time together. It might have been cool, and at that stage in my life, you was just what I needed. But in this stage, you don't fit here. And it's nothing personal. Ain't no hard feelings. Ain't no none of that. You can stay where you comfortable being at, and I'm going to get to where I'm going. But I can't let you weigh me down en route to it because you still being I don't want to call no names, but you're not willing to grow at the pace that I'm willing to grow. So I got to cut you loose. Again, it's still love, but it's love from a distance until you find it in your, headspace to change into what you need to be to get to where I'm trying to get to. And that's just what it is. Same with relationships. Like when you're younger, that person might be perfect for you. But then you get a little older, live a little bit of life, and you realize, damn, man, I got aspirations of this. And you still talking about that. I got love for you. But I'm not about to try to change your mindset as an adult to try to drag you with me. That's going to be way more energy and more times than not is going to fail, and you're going to fail because you're trying to do it. You're doing so much pouring that your cup is going to be empty. Sometimes we just got to accept, man, that person was a stepping stool, and it's still love, but it's love from a distance. Okay, I wish you the best, but I can't bring you with me. Nipsey said it best: everybody can't go, and that's the realest shit I ever heard. Because I almost shortstopped my situation trying to do that. Trying to drag niggas from my neighborhood. Hey, man, just come on out here, bro. Just see this, bro. I got a bunch of different ways we can make money. I got a bunch of different situations going on. Come be a part of it. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I hear you. I hear you, bro. Yeah, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to get out there. Never came. You see what I'm saying? And ended up getting in trouble, going to jail. One of my homies overdosed from popping perks and different stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, again, you can want the best for somebody and all day long, but if they don't want it for themselves, it's irrelevant. You wasting time and energy, and sometimes you got to cut that loose before it drag you down with it.
Yeah, I don't think I try to change anybody, but I don't defriend anyone. I don't let anyone go. I have friends from my hood that I'm still friends with. They're not with me in my daily life because I live a different life than they do. But I don't let them go. When I go back to the hood, we still kick it. When I want to go back to the hood, we'll still hang out. We'll still party together sometimes, when I go back to the hood, yeah, we'll do that. But I don't let them go just because I'm at another place in my life. I will live my life where I want to go and do the things that I want to do. But I'll keep those friends with me. I don't cut them off. If there's something like that puts me in danger, in that type of way, then I can remove myself from the situation. But just because of a different lifestyle and I don't rock the same way that they rock, we're still friends. We just don't hang out that much. You know, I'll hang out when I want to be on some stuff like that, or I want to do some, ratchet things like that. You know, I'll go down to the hood and do some ratchet things, and I'll come back up to, Midtown in Houston and live my life, and it'll just be what it is, but I just don't, if there is something I want to change about a person, I'll go to God and I'll, hope that God's changed their heart. But I don't try to get people to think like me and live like me. And, I think that my life is this way, so you should be on my level. No, she want to live hood, she want to live ratchet, let her live ratchet. And when I'm on some ratchet stuff, I'll go down there and we could be ratchet. But other than that, just be what it is.
That's
But I don't think
dangerous,
it's necessarily a try to change thing. It's nobody goes in and like, hey, I'm gonna change you. It's not like that. It's like
some people do.
yeah,
Some people do.
I
Some people want to change people.
Here you
They
go.
want
I
them
had
to
enough
ju-
with changing diapers. I can't change them kids in there, baby. When I say my youngest give me the blues, she gives me the blues, and that belt still ain't changed her. Okay, but when you, to me, I'm getting just speaking straight for me. It's like when I start seeing that there's more out there, instead of looking like right here, I start peeping up and start seeing other people do things that I want to do. It's like I'll throw it at you. Hey, you want to do this? Okay, no, cool. Okay, so that means you got to stay right here. Let me go over here and mingle with these and see what we're doing. Because a lot of times it's not that I want to leave my friends behind. I don't. Like I got family members now that we haven't traveled together, but I done been places. So it's like, okay, so what can you do? Are you gonna get your passport? Are you gonna get these coins? Or we gonna make this trip by this day? Because a lot of times people, like Trill was saying, they do all that rah, 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 and you don't see them, you don't hear them. The dude they came and ain't nobody came. So it's like, why do I got to continue to hold myself because you refuse to go with? Like
You just go with the friends that want to go out there, and the ones
that's
that
why
want to travel by state. You travel by
That's
state, you go with them by state. But the
I'll
friends
tell you
that
what.
It's
want
not
to
even
go out
about
the
just
country,
the state
go out the
wise. It's
country.
just some
Mhm.
people, they in that mindset of this is all, this is good, this is where I'm staying, and you got to stay in here with me. But when that chokehold get around your neck and you ain't breathing, oh yeah, you gonna come up out of there, and you can still do the ratchet things in the hood with your uptown girls, and you can bring them to the hood and show them around and do a little hood stuff over
Can't
there.
mix them. Can't mix them.
But sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't.
Can't mix them.
That's for me. I can honestly say I can mix my friends because I can kind of get along with everybody. It's just that some people just ain't meant for that ride. But again, this comes from my whole experience. This is
Mhm.
from having no kids to having kids to adding an additional one and see how people really feel about you. Because we're gonna take this back. When I had my first child, my very, very best friend told me, now since you're a single parent, you're gonna understand me better. You're gonna have the realization that I have. And I took that as like, why would you say that? Like, why you don't tell me the things that I tell my friends? Don't do this. This is not for you. Being a single parent is hard. I didn't understand back in the day because I had family around me, but being a single parent is hard. You have to be there when you're sick, you're tired, hungover, no matter what, that child is there. That child needs you. You know what I'm saying? Instead, you want me to feel your pain. You want me to bleed so we can just continue this bleeding and cutting cycle. No, baby, it don't work like that. That conversation right there ended our friendship because she saw that I was still the same person. I wasn't broken because I had a child. That child needed to be raised. I got to be a better person. And whatever I'm going to do, get up and work overtime, whatever I got to do, I'm going to take care of my business. But see, a lot of people don't see it like that. And that's why I say a lot of women get with these guys, have these babies, and then want to put on the single mother act as they're strong, they got it. No, no, no. Baby, it's a partnership. Because sometimes when you're sick, you're feeling down, you're not at your top, you need that man to come in and take that stress. Just like we saying that women need to be able to take that stress off a man when he walked through the door, everybody needs that, whether it's inside or out the house. But that's the conversation we do not have. And that's the problem that we have. And these little young girls running around here being single parents, thinking that's the flyest thing ever. No, it's ghetto, it's ridiculous, it's retarded. Because being a parent, you have to be there A100 all day, every day for the crying, the lying. You got to be there when they friends ain't acting right. You got to sit here and listen to these stories. You like, man, what is this? What is y'all doing at this school? Where is the teachers? Matter of fact, where is they parents? And then you got to hear about what they parents saying about you and they don't even know you. You see what I'm saying? It's like when people, like saying earlier, when people realize that you don't fit that idea that's in their head no more, they move different. They start acting funny. So you do have to move around. Hopefully you never experience it with your friends. Hopefully you never experience, because it's heartbreaking, because it's like all the memories, all the things we could be doing, we can't do because you're stuck in a selfish, like Trill said, a selfish way and a mindset that keeps you in a box instead of trying to figure out, okay, what can we do so we can still be on the same page? A lot of things is not healthy in some of these friendships. I'm just gonna keep it 1,000. Because like I said, me, I've always had no children. So, I was the big auntie. I was the, I miss being the auntie. The auntie that come throw the money and go about my business. I miss that life. I really do. But at the same time, I'm on this side now. I'm on this fence. I got to be more responsible. And people don't look at it like that. Because once they see you outdoing them and they do have a spouse, it's a problem. And it don't come from nothing that you're doing, nothing that you're throwing up. It's just about your mindset and where you're trying to go. And a lot of women can't break that cycle to flip that mirror and say, hey, you are not doing this right. You need to do this, this, and this. So you can fix yourself so you can be A100 for your children. And that's what we don't do.
That's what's up. Hey, Trill, was you about to say something?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut him off.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I was just gonna say, man, like that dibbling and dabbling back and forth for everybody listening, man. I'm gonna tell you why that's dangerous. I'm gonna tell you a real life story, right?
I thought you was gonna bring up the Offset situation. I was like, okay.
Nah. This I ain't.
Or
Yeah.
Takeoff situation. I was like, that's what I'm saying. Unless it's dangerous, But then again, that's a part of something he wanted to do.
Right. But nah, this situation is different though, because again, like we all grew up together. We all grew up in the same neighborhood, right? Now I left to go play ball, and then another one of my homeboys left to go play ball. Now when I left, I used to come back here there, but when I did, I'm going to my mama's house. I'm coming back to where I'm playing ball at, coming back to school. Right. With my other homeboy, not so much. He wanted to come back, he wanted to re-ingratiate himself, kick it with the guys, run through all of the old blocks, all of the other stuff, right? So one time he came home during the off season, and he came to kick it with one of our boys, and they just took a trip to Walmart to go pick up I think some Swisses or something. I can't remember, but something like. And when they got up there, they got what they was gonna get, left. They got caught at a stoplight, and then my homeboy who came home from playing ball, he got shot in his face. They wasn't looking for him. They was trying to get our other homeboy who he was driving with for a beef that didn't happen months before that bro ain't know nothing about, right? So that's what I mean by that shit is dangerous, because you don't know what's going on there. Like, you not there no more. You don't have a post to it. And somebody can have an issue with somebody that ain't got nothing to do, and you can get touched for it. So you got to pick one. It's the same thing with Nipsey. I love Nipsey to death, but I remember when he was talking about building that spot in the middle of the hood and all that stuff, I said that is not a good idea. It's not, I mean, not necessarily the building of it, but you being so accessible there. It's not a good idea. You're not on the block no more. You're not with the gang no more. You're not broke no more. You are a target. You are, you know what I'm saying? And that's how he went out. Still trying to stay loyal to these same guys I came up with, still trying to be here, show my face, come back, touch base here and there. I got a big house somewhere else, but I'm going to come back in the hood every day, kick it with you, different things like that. That's a dangerous situation. You cannot do both. You got to pick one.
You have to be smart about it for sure.
If you want to hang with the guys from the neighborhood or your friends from the neighborhood who may still be in whatever they into, come where I'm at. I'm not going back there. Come where I'm at. So I can we going to ride safe. This is a nice suburban area, big ass house. You got a couple rooms up there. You can pick one to sleep in. We're going to go to the nice spots that cost money to eat at and money to be around, and to just give you a different experience. We ain't going to be around the same bullshit. I can't go back and ingratiate myself in the shit that I used to ingratiate myself in. I'm not the same person. I got a bullseye on my chest now, and it's not smart to do that. But a lot of people do that, and that's how they lose their life. So that's what I'm saying. Just be careful with that. Some people, man, if they not willing to come where you at, you got to cut them off. You have to. That's just the reality.
Yeah, I think you still have to be smart. You still have to, keep your head on a swivel if you're gonna be, doing those kind of
Gotta have
things.
that
But you,
thing on
you
you.
still gotta be smart in those situations and in those neighborhoods. So it's not like I go back to the hood and I'm just oblivious like everybody. I'm living in this bubble, you know what I mean? Like when I go back home, I still know that I can't even go for a run where I'm from. Like I can't go jogging. Here I can go jogging at night, but there I can't go jogging at night. I can still engage with my friends there, but I know I have to act different because I'm accustomed to living a certain life here than I was there. So I think you still have to be smart on where you're at.
That's what's up.
But see
Man,
how you
thank you.
breaking your
Hey,
comfort
hey,
zone?
I'm gonna do it like this. Am I better now?
Yeah.
Much better.
Oh, you
All right,
much
cool.
better.
Well,
What you did?
I switched computers. Okay. This is Trill. You hate when these things. This is so horrible. But y'all held it down. I really appreciate it. I was looking at y'all on my phone to try to see what was going on. So, but I appreciate y'all time. It's been a really good dialogue. I try to hold church as long as need be. And y'all sometimes get carried away and become Pentecostal. So, I appreciate y'all conversation. All right. And as we chime out, just give me one thing that you take away from the conversation and tell us where people can find you. Okay. One thing you take away from the conversation and where people can find you. And we'll go around the horn. We'll start with Brandon. On you.
All right. One thing I take from the conversation is that when we all list out everything that we like, the preferences and what we should look for, I think we have a lot more similarities and differences when we all break it down. Unfortunately, I wish it would match like real life, like how people behave in real life. But in general, what I do take away from it is like theoretically and mentally, we have more agreement than disagreements about what it is that we should be looking for on both sides of the coin. Where you can find me on YouTube, the Buffet Podcast with Brandon and Ciandra. We run a couples podcast drop every Wednesday. We're also on IG at the Buffet Pod. You can see it right here underneath me, right there. Follow us, check us out. You have a good time.
Absolutely. Trill.
Crew season, man. Everywhere. All streaming platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Google us, man. It's gonna pop up somewhere. What I took from the conversation is, man, like if I want people to understand the fact, man, that you are not a finished product, man. You got a lot of work to do. And I don't care what people's in your ear telling you about how great you are, how good you look, how great of a partner you are, this, that, and the third. It's always something to work on. And a lot of times people don't have the results that they want, tying back to the preference topic, because they don't feel like they need to evolve no more. They literally don't feel like I need to do no work on myself to become the person that deserves the person I want. Fact is, a lot of y'all don't deserve the person you want. That's just the reality of it. It ain't about no material, nothing. Ain't about no financial, nothing. A lot of y'all mental space is just not equipped, doesn't have the capacity to deal with what it is that you're asking for. So it will behoove you to get that together before you run into that person and fumble the bag. So that's what I want people to leave with from this conversation.
Appreciate you as always, fam. Penny, on you.
I don't really have anywhere. Well, I don't want anyone to follow me anywhere. But I will be on Humble Dad's podcast. Sometimes I'm on Lapeef on Thursday, so you can find me there. But don't try to contact me or look me up. I don't need no new friends on social media. But but you can follow, Humble Dad and JR, and you guys can get on that way. What I took from this, I guess tonight, I learned a lot from Lost in Translation. I did like some of your points, your W's and H's, and then just realizing that some of my preferences are ideal, and that I'm on the right track on who I have and the things that he possessed and some of the things that you guys stated. So I think that's amazing to know, that you're on the right track and the things that you do have and some of the things that you guys mentioned today. So I took a lot from this podcast today.
That's what's up. On you, Ash.
I would say for me, it's stick to them preferences, because you run into a lot of extra when you don't. And make sure that I fine tune what the preference is, not just go and say, hey, I like that. That shine, that glitz, that glam. Also, I've definitely Lost in Translation. And you will be having a new member because I'm going to find you. Gonna be tomorrow though. But I really did like the how you tied in religion, because a lot of people speak religion, but they don't tie it into how it fits today's society. They want to talk about yesteryear. So that was my biggest take. If you want to follow me, you can find me on IG 360.diva.
That's what's up. On you, Lost in Translation, lit podcast.
Thank you.
That's what
Thank
it
you.
is.
Humble Dad, I want to say thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast. It has truly been a pleasure, and I enjoyed everybody on the panel and in the chat. My greatest thing that I learned is that sometimes people use their preferences as a means for no activity, as Tria talked about earlier, as procrastination. Because I'm gonna tell you why. People sometimes use their preference because they know their preference is going to tell them no. Well, guess what? No doesn't require action. Guess what requires action? Yes. You know what I mean? Yes will require you to change your emergency contact from your mama to your significant other. You know what I'm saying? Yes will cause you to make sure that you go out and get an extra job so you can have money to spend to get this ring that your woman desires. A yes will have you picking out new china sets and picking out a new house and where your kids is going to go to school. You see what I'm saying? Yes requires you to change your life. No doesn't. So I think a lot of times people like to use their preferences as a means to not move forward in life. But I always tell people, sometimes you got to get ready for your yes. And in your season of getting ready for yes, make sure that you're the best version of yourself. Make sure that you take care of the people that are around you, because sometimes those people are going to be the ones that are going to carry you when you can't carry yourself. Always take care of the folks around you. My thing is that you can always find me on Black Man Unfiltered channel on Tuesdays, on Talk That Talk Tuesday, and also on Friday at the barbershops. You can also find me on Sir Hell Speaks on Super Sunday. This past Sunday, he allowed me to be the host. I enjoyed that. Thank you so much, Sir Hell, if you're listening. Appreciate it, brother. And last but not least, you can always find me on YouTube. I'm fairly new, but I've been here and I've been here for a while in the shadows. If y'all know me, y'all know where I'm from. And I won't speak his name because people will start stomping a hole in the ground like Rumpelstiltskin. So you can always find me online at Lost in Translation Podcast, just to make sure that everybody gets together and understand why we do the things that we do and how we can get better as a people. Thank you so much, Humble Dad.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you have been a delight to have for sure. Hopefully you'll come back. Hey, Pig Meek, it's on you.
Okay. I want to say thank you for having me again. I appreciate it. Sorry for all my I don't knows in the beginning. It's my bedtime. But I would like to close out by saying that as long as your preferences are realistic, stick to them. Because if you don't want anything too drastic or too crazy and it's really an ideal partner, make sure you're creating yourself to be that for them. Be mindful that every choice that we make can deter you from the preference that you desire. So make sure you're doing all that you can to stand out and get what you desire. You can follow me on the Instagram, the X, and the YouTube. I'm Pick Meek everywhere.
That's what's up. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Humble Dad podcast on IG is Humble Dad Legacy, because that's what I'm building. Thank you so much for everybody that's here. And it's always a pleasure to have a conversation about how we can change our lives and others. Until next time, we out here. Deuces. All right, fam.
The boy is dangerous.
something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.